Hello, everyone. Yeah, Met's here with me this time. What do you think of that?
Yay. I got crackers. I got Wensleydale. I'm in for a night.
That's good. I don't know what Wensleydale is, but that's good.
Type of cheese, grommet.
I didn't know that. All I know is about this one squirrel that keeps talking about cabbage cheese because I've been watching his breakdowns of King of the Hill videos.
Huh.
Yeah. He's actually pretty informative. But yeah.
Alright.
Anyway. Gungrave, as far as I know, it's actually was inspired by the show Trigun, if you've ever seen it.
That is very believable.
Which is, very obviously made to be a Western shoot 'em up, kind of thing. Japan really seems to like the cowboy theming, but, I mean, it goes similar to samurai theming, so it's understandable. I'm not gonna blame them. I loved cowboys when I was younger. So I can't really blame them. Except for the fact that I got smaller there. There we go. My mouse is acting weird. But on that note, yeah, Gungrave. It's a very cool name. As far as I know, that's all I know. Because I thought it was made by Suda51. Apparently it's not. So, yeah.
I feel like it'd be a Suda51 game.
I do have an idea for a game similar to this, but, well, not similar, but that's for way in the future. Anyway, off we go, and if you guys like it, like, comment, subscribe, and help out McFumbles a little bit. This is just Shadow the Hedgehog. Anyway, let's head into this and see where it goes. It's a very nice design-wise, though.
The struggle for balance between style and substance is possibly the hardest balance for any game to
Oh,
find.
yeah.
You want to make sure that your game is distinct in case you lose track of
Oh,
it while
yeah.
shopping at Walmart, but you also want to make it interesting to make sure you care enough to report it missing. There are games that have amazing visual styles and super cool graphics that play like garbage.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the inverse, games that could potentially be a life-changing experience that open up a whole new
But they
genre
look
of
like
games
trash.
for me to enjoy. Not dressed like that, they're not. I know I said I liked wrestling, but I like my parents' approval a lot more. A far less common example is
I don't know what that was, but I think it was something related to the Yakuza stuff, because goddamn, what the hell?
Graphically, it looked like a Dreamcast game.
Possibly. But yeah.
when one of those two elements is so overwhelming that it manages to work completely independent of the element it's missing. It's very common for a mechanically complex
I need to
game
play
to be
Baba's
super light
You.
on visuals,
Maybe.
and for a visually stunning game to have all the control complexity of a light switch.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, loser! I just figured out how to wave dash with this thing! Even though a game can falter in one area, that doesn't mean that another can't work hard enough to pick up the slack.
I love it when he
and
just
that's
starts
exactly what
yelling
happened with me
nonsense.
Yeah.
and Gungrave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're using the Vendreads. Oh, I love the Vendreads. Dear God, I wish they were actually good cards.
I mean, ain't that the truth? I mean, thankfully my Machinas are at least competent.
Gungrave tries. I feel like if it gets enough push and if it gets a good enough amount of cards, it can be good, but it's really not the best. It's an interesting design because design-wise, it's a mix of Spawn and Resident Evil, which
That
is...
was Ghost Rider and Spawn.
No, Spawn and Resident Evil because there's an evil virus taking over people and turning them into zombies.
Am I misremembering a motorcycle?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Veb, we're reacting to a video about Gungrave.
Yeah.
Ah, Gungrave.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we are also talking about the Vendreads just a little bit, which I've never played the original Gungrave. There's a sequel to it. It's awful. But yeah.
I like the Vendreads, they were cool.
Yeah.
So what
So
is
do I.
Gungrave? Well, we can't really answer that question properly until we get into the game's development. Alright, Where is Gungrave? On the PS2. When is
Oh,
Gungrave?
I wish I played it.
Later. How is Gungrave? It's pretty good. Why is Gungrave? Oh, I know this one! One of the biggest driving forces behind Gungrave's development was famous Japanese manga artist Yoshihiro Naito.
Really?
You may know him for his work
Oh,
on Trigun,
he did!
a story following Valentinez, Uncle Anella,
That makes
Z-Hawk,
sense.
Shushishapo Here.
That actually does make sense.
Yeah, I love
Like-
the art. Like, I need to tell you this. Some inspiration for my cowboy design came from Vash the Stampede, as you can probably tell. Well, from Trigun in general, I should say. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
I never did show you guys. Well, I showed Met my cowboy design. But give me 1 second. I can
Cute and
show.
huggable.
No. Because it's very flashy. Like, I kind of let the artist do what they want to, and it kind of made me... This is my cowboy design.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Handsome and huggable.
Anyway, back
He's
to this.
definitely huggable.
Oh my god. Anyway, to this.
It's Gambe Gobella, Blue Stradivari, Talon
I
Trent,
love
Pierre,
all
Andre
the signs.
Tartan, Hamos, Ivanovinci, Baldus, George, Deutzel,
Oh, damn,
Kaiser
there's
III.
4 Gungraves.
Friends call him Vash. It's a massively popular series running
Oh,
for
yeah.
20 years in
I wish it
manga
got more
form,
space
outliving the very
westerns.
book it was first published in, and being
Yeah.
adapted into one of the most warmly regarded animes of all time. Above all else, though, was Naito's style. The man's
Oh,
artistic
yeah.
talent is amazing, and the thought had come up to try to apply that talent to a video game. So,
Makes
how did
sense.
Naito get into the game-making scene? Are you prepared for the giraffe to get introduced?
What?
Naito was attending a convention in California and bumped into producer Toru Kubo while the pair were shopping at Toys R Us. This
What?
game and bankruptcies are Jeffrey's lasting legacy.
Jeffrey,
The
you
pair
son of
eventually
a
decided
bitch.
that it was time to bring
Jeffrey
Naito
the Giraffe. Oh my god. But yeah.
Shout out to that time the horrors of 9/11 made Jeffrey lose his cartoon innocence.
Oh my god. We're not... What the
style
hell?
to the PS2, and from there the
Don't
development
ask.
team was formed. This included Naito himself developing character designs and concepts for the game, Kosuke Fujishima, most famous for the Oh My Goddess series, who designed all the mechanical elements, and
Oh.
Red Entertainment, developers of games like Sakura Wars and Fossil Fighters.
Oh.
Together, the team would tap into 3 very specific visions for what the
Decently
game's
strong
world
team.
should look like,
Yeah.
mixing Chinatown, John Woo, and Robert Rodriguez.
Perfect.
Specifically Desperado. After having seen the film
All
and
right.
playing the game, I think there's great grounds for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
The game that came out of this union was Gungrave, released in July of 2002 in Japan and September of 2002 in America. The game received a critical shrugging. Neither its supporters
Oh,
or its
God.
detractors able to muster up enough vitriol to definitively say whether it was good or not. Middle-of-the-road review scores and decent sales numbers are usually the death knell for a game, but
Yeah.
no, Gungrave went on to have a decent run, getting its own amazing
classic.
anime adaptation,
Really?
sequel, VR
Okay.
games,
Okay, we...
Yeah, no, I was Google it while we were watching this. It got 23 episodes.
We need to watch that at some point.
Was it 26? Probably 26.
But yeah, I need to watch that at some point. Also, yeah, I'll explain my idea for a cowboy-style game like this later, but yeah.
made well after the last Gungrave fan died, and even
Yeah.
a brand new installment as recently as last year.
It's
But I want to
not
focus on
great.
the original. This is Gungrave. This game has an appendix of a plot. If you pass out mid-cutscene and wake up when the gameplay resumes, you won't really miss anything. That's not on accident either. Gungrave is very forward with what it wants to be, and a story-rich game is not that. If you do want to understand what's going on, go check out the Gungrave anime. It fills in every missing detail and is basically required
Interesting.
reading, except for the
Oh.
fact that Gungrave the game kind of functions independent of having a story. What plot is there
Makes
starts
sense.
with a young girl dragging a
Yeah.
massive metal container through the streets of a futuristic city, eventually making it to an underground office.
Kai.
This is
Hey,
good.
Kai.
Watching Gungrave.
Yeah, I need to put Kai on screen now then. Give me 1 second, because things are messing up for some reason. Everyone don't look at the screen. Not you guys
Looking
watching.
at the screen. You can't stop me.
Oh my god.
I don't even look at the screen when I am normally doing things.
Oh god. I don't know why it's messing up now, but there. Kai's on screen, but he's giant, so I have to shrink him down again.
Well, I am a giant robot, so that works.
But do chicks dig you? Is the biggest question. I know.
Good question.
Dr. T, and he's looking after the main character beyond the grave. The
Of course,
package the
that's
girl
his
was
name.
carrying contained a pair of handguns that belonged to Grave. Dr. T asks if we're gonna go take out the Syndicate, a crime family that runs the town. Grave says nothing, he's a mute. And with that,
Yeah.
the game begins.
He doesn't
Don't mistake
speak.
Gungrave's lack of story with the story it does have being uninteresting. You're given everything you need to know about why you want to blast the villain at the end of the stage into particles, but the game chooses to not bog itself down with long cutscenes. Gungrave's greatest strength is how to the point it is, and that's not only seen in the story, but also the gameplay. Don't worry, fellas. If you're on a date and they ask you how to control Gungrave for PS2, you can write down most of the controls on your hand with space to spare. Trust me. So the main button is the square button. You're gonna be jamming on this for the entire game. You have to continuously mash it without auto-fire, which can be painful, but you don't really have to worry about the game going on long enough for you to feel the effects. You also have a melee shot, which almost never comes up because if an enemy's running directly at you, you're gonna have a much better shot at gunning them down with your pistols rather than trying to hit them with your coffin.
Makes sense.
Triangle is your demolition shot, or as they were called earlier in development, desperado shots. Guys, I think you really liked Gremlins. This is your screen nuke. Fire off one and the whole place lights up. X is for jumping and circle is for running, a button you're going to want to be holding down whenever you're not shooting because Grave is very, very slow.
He's a guy
now,
carrying a
if the
coffin,
name Beyond
so-
the Grave didn't tip you
He's a
off, Grave
dead
is
guy
a
carrying a
zombie,
coffin.
so it makes
Yeah.
sense that he can't run fast and
He's
the
a
game never
zombie.
requires quick movement. Except when it does, but those parts are
He's a
bad.
techno
These are your
zombie.
basic controls,
Yeah.
but Grave, Beyond the
Still a
does have
zombie.
a few more tricks. Under your
Okay.
health is a shield meter that eats damage for you and regenerates super quickly when out of a fight. The
Nice.
drawback is that if you're out in the open for too long and start taking real damage, that doesn't recover and adds up fast. Luckily, the shield takes a long time to break, so you're invincible as long as you kill whoever's shooting you fast enough. When I said the gameplay is straightforward, this is what I mean. The game encourages you to plant your rigor mortis riddled behind in place, stand still, and shoot. The shield takes
Goddamn.
most of the damage for you as you simply rotate around and take out whatever's bothering you. Grave shoots a lot faster and deals way more damage while standing still, so the game
Okay,
is
that
fully
makes
endorsing
sense.
you just standing there and blasting till the opponent is a cloud of viscera. To some, that may sound incredibly simple and a little boring, and while it's
Yeah, I wonder
perfectly
what the
fine
hook
to
is.
feel that way,
Yeah.
there's an aspect you're not accounting for. This is rad as hell. Gungrave's gameplay succeeds at minimal input, maximum output. The combat is so stylish while being incredibly simple. It's so much fun to shred people apart with bullets while tanking whatever they throw back, and then
Yeah.
blowing them all to kingdom come with a well-timed demolition shot. On top of that, this style of gameplay works perfectly for the game's combo system. To charge up those demolition shots, you have to get enough beats to make your skeleton overlord happy, and you do that
yeah.
by shooting. Not just shooting people, but the environment too. One thing that all
Destruction.
the ingredients in the Gungrave melting pot have in common is environmental destruction. John Woo,
Oh, yeah.
Robert Rodriguez, and Trigun especially pride
Oh,
themselves on
yeah.
having gunfire tear apart the scenery and leave nothing but rubble in the aftermath.
That's something I
Your combo
love.
gets pretty high when only firing at people, but balloons out of control when you start beefing with the furniture. By firing at all times, you get to keep your combo up, increase it, and get more demolition shots as a result. It looks to
Oh,
emulate
yeah.
the feeling of a chaotic shootout in every stage, and the game succeeds perfectly at that. Speaking of that stage, we have to chase a gangster down to get more information out of him about the Syndicate. We chase him all the way up to the roof of the building before he somehow gives us the slip and goes all the way back down to the streets below.
How?
Well, only one way down. Once we reduce the surrounding area to scrap metal
Yeah.
and thug meat, we get to interrogate the guy for information.
Scrap metal and
interrogate
thug
means
meat. Oh,
murder,
that's a good
right?
line.
After filling him
Yeah.
with enough lead to legally qualify as a pencil, we leave, and stage 1 is over.
Cool.
That took 4 minutes to complete.
Oh,
Yeah,
goddamn.
you learn quick that Gungrave
Wow.
is a very, very fast game. Stages on average don't break the 10-minute mark, and for how simple the controls are, that's probably for the best. The game knows what it is, how much somebody can take before it gets old, and gets out well before that.
That's good.
By putting armed goons on the endangered species list, I managed to score a whopping 17 skulls. Wow! What the hell do I do with these? Back
You
at
got
Dr.
the bullet
T's place,
dance.
and the girl who brought us our guns, Mika,
She looks
is
so
shaking
anime.
off all that blood loss like a champ. These in-between mission breaks at the office are where the lore of the world gets expanded upon, learning
I
that
mean,
Grave
it feels
has a
very
personal
Trigun
beef
coded
against the
with
Syndicate.
the mix of
Yeah.
It's entirely the coat mixed with the
Elsa.
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it was designed by people from Trigun.
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it was quite
That's what
literally.
we said.
Well, I'm up to speed.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, that she reminds me of Dante for some reason, but
I mean,
more
it's the
between-
white hair and the red coat.
Yeah.
And the green eyes.
Yeah.
Or whatever color eyes
Kid,
Dante's
and
eyes are.
Because Mom was our old friend. She doesn't seem too keen on talking regardless of how hard I mashed the X button, so I guess I'll leave her alone. The next place we're going to terrorize is a warehouse filled with seed addicts.
Dr. T.
Someone's been cutting their sunflower seeds with hard poppy, which sounds like the perfect excuse for us to get involved. Going through this place not only gives us a chance to test out the brand new demolition shot we got for clearing out the last mission, but also take in the game's level design, since it's never really going to get more complicated than this. Gungrave's levels are almost all wide open hallways with enemies crawling out of the woodworks to fuel your combo meter. This works alongside the game's main playstyle perfectly, as instead of chasing enemies down to harass them with small arms fire, they come to you, leaving you free to simply stand there and keep firing until people stop showing up. It
Yeah.
also means that rarely does anything take you by surprise. Enemies are kind enough to never flank you and instead run at you with all the enthusiasm of a rat hopping into a deep fryer. Now, I lavish the level design with praise, and what do I get in
The
return?
deep fryer is hungry.
These boxes.
Heated ice.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
these things are a real pain. For as good as Graves' movement is at selling him as a Hot Topic Frankenstein, it doesn't really help out when it comes to platforming. Enemies up on top of the boxes are almost impossible to kill from the floor, and the odyssey you
Oh,
have to take to
goddamn.
get on their level can leave you nearly dead.
Ooh,
They
yeah,
understood
that'd be
that this
annoying.
section was
Yeah.
kind of frustrating, though, since they give you a big room full of boxes and goons to mow through afterwards. Damn, it feels good to be a corpse. The enemy variety in this stage also takes an uptick as you get enemies with machine guns, rocket launchers, dolts who thought it would be wise to run at you with a samurai sword, hacking a console with our guns, and we get into the office of the warehouse and find our target. We show off our one party trick for a while until everyone in the room dies, and we get 13 skulls this time. Alright guys, it's time to regroup. This was embarrassing.
Got your
Back at the
hellhound
office and we
roar.
get to chat more with Mika. Here we learn that Harry McDowell is the one after us and is the head of the syndicate. Speaking of which, Mika here is the daughter of previous syndicate leader and previous living person, Big Daddy. Now that the city has calmed down thanks to people not smoking pumpkin seeds, there's more opportunities to tangle with the syndicate, starting in Chinatown. 30 double years in the future, we have flying cars, cowboy zombies, and super cartels, and somehow Chinatown is just persistent. Our informant, Winky
Not that
Lives Long,
surprising.
tells us about a party to introduce the new boss of the
Not really.
syndicate, and if they're all
Yeah.
gonna be there in one place, what better chance will we ever get to kill them all in one go? While I have the chance, it's time to finally mention that presentation. This game is dripping with 3 very distinct styles that all mesh together into something perfect. First off is the art of Naito. This game is loaded up on his trademarks.
Oh, yeah.
Characters with the proportions of fridges,
Oh, yeah.
massive bulky guns, at least
Oh, yeah.
5 or 6 crosses on any given part of the body with absolutely 0 religious meaning, and massive, hulking
Yeah.
trench coats. Then there was
Oh,
the
yeah.
way the style was adapted to the PlayStation 2. We gotta get those selfish, lazy indie devs out of the stone ages of SNES-inspired games and get them making games that look like this again. Stop
Yeah.
living in the past. It's not 1992, it's 2002. The angular and blocky designs of Gungrave are endlessly charming,
I'm
giving
not
the game
against
a look
that.
that could truly only be achieved by this team on
Yeah.
this console. Then there's the music. Not exactly
As
like
long as
Undead
the game's
Cowboy
fun.
and Future Chinatown lends itself to a specific music genre, but Gungrave manages to find the perfect mix of different music types, primarily
Really?
focusing on jazz. This game has almost as much
That makes
saxophone in
sense.
it as it does bullets, and it's one
I'm
of
not
those things that
surprised.
on paper
Yeah.
doesn't work, but in practice sounds perfect.
Jazz
Back to the
surprisingly works in
streets,
a
and
lot
we
of
get the
places.
best chance to build up combos out of any stage so far, as we get wide open streets filled with cars and goons to gun through, enclosed shopping areas with
depends on the
stands
jazz.
to blow apart, and
Yeah.
the first kind of problem with the controls. See, Graves' movement doesn't just control him, it controls the camera, which means it's
Oh.
impossible to know where something is
Oh.
without putting Grave directly in its face. With a stage like this
Yeah.
with a healthy amount of corners, you can't see what's
Oh,
coming
and
until you're
twin
already
stick
in the
era,
line of
too.
fire. And
Yeah.
with Grave moving with all the grace of a hippopotamus, it makes dealing with enemies behind corners a real hassle. Later on, you get chased down by an excavator that wants to flatten you for all your crimes against vehicle kind. But the old reliable of shooting it repeatedly until it dies hasn't failed us yet and isn't failing us now. We crash the party the syndicate is having and end up in a room filled with fragile dining equipment. The janitor is gonna be pissed. You stand there and fire your guns long enough for the syndicate to come and see what all the noise is. You see, these men get to run the town because they're the widest. They inform us that we used to be part of the syndicate, but clearly an irreparable rift formed after they shot you
almighty
repeatedly in the
whitest.
face. The whitest of the syndicate, Bob Pound Max, then hops down for a fight. At least I'm not the only one with a stupid name. He seems to have mastered the same fighting style as us, as he refuses to move for the entire fight until we shoot him dead. On our way out to catch up with the fleeing syndicate members, however, he returns in a powder.
There is! We literally just had one talk about that. Yeah, there's apparently a 26
There's a 26 episode anime.
Yeah. And I was explaining that we need to watch that at some point. Also, I explained that we need more space westerns. And maybe some with mecha as well. But yeah.
I'd be down. I would like to have more than just Gun X Sword to recommend as masterpieces.
Yeah.
To carry him around like a baby bouncer. He's got new attacks like hitting us with his belly, slamming you, and giving birth to these weird white guys, but other than that, he's not much trouble and we kill him for a second time.
Yeah.
Sir, how many skulls did you get in that last stage? I don't want to talk about it. So before we can go out for our next mass homicide, Grave has to have a blood transfusion.
Really?
See, he's a walking corpse. He needs to have all the blood sucked out of his body and replaced with new, fresh blood. Taking a break for the first time since starting a war with the concept of crime, our lab is immediately raided, Mika is kidnapped, and Dr. T is killed. We have to book it to go find Mika before they get away, and this involves more gunfire and goons. Now, just because I think that Gungrave is cool as hell doesn't mean I can't understand why someone would mistake this for the most boring game ever made. It has been 4 levels, and not only is the gameplay not changed since level 1, there's almost no variety in how you approach things.
Yeah.
All that really changed is where you're shooting, what the guys you're shooting look like, and what demolition shots you can use, and to some, that can get really, really old. If you like your games
my main problem
deep,
with the sequel.
engaging, and constantly challenging you, Gungrave is not that, not by a long shot. It's simple, pick up and play action without a lot of depth to help it out. Gungrave is a game of extremes. Depending on what you like out of a game, it's either going to be a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. If what you've seen so far looks fun to you, congratulations, the entire game is like that. If what you've seen so far doesn't look fun, sorry, the entire game is like that. Back on track though, and we managed to go deeper into the subway, plowing through enemies in bunny suits.
Honestly, it'd probably work more if you could move around a bit more and like John Woo or Max Payne around a bit while dodging and having the enemies also like shoot a bunch of stuff while you're dodging.
True. That's just not the game they were trying to make.
No, it wasn't.
Or just more gun selection.
That also works.
Explain to their family why they're in a bunny suit at their funeral, not mine. These rocket launcher enemies are the worst because they fire a lot faster than you think they can, home in on you, and annihilate your shield meter. It takes us a while, but the level's name finally lives up to the hype as we get onto a subway train. I feel like this is what people see the whole game as if they don't like it. The rest of the level is running through train cars, shooting at helicopters riding along outside, and trying to position yourself to hit them without being hit. I feel like this is the game testing the water for just how much horizontal movement you really need to enjoy yourself. It's either forward or back. All other cardinal directions were a mistake.
That's understandable.
Yeah,
It's a little hard.
Fuck you, East. Getting far enough and we meet up with...
I just like he randomly shouts out against the East. I don't know why specifically. But yeah.
Fuck you, East.
It's still a really good design, though. Loyal to Big Daddy. Dear God, that name. But yeah, all of it still looks really cool.
With the next syndicate member who's holding Mika hostage. To make
No. We're not doing that. We are not doing that.
Whale noises.
No. No whale noises. Then we have to talk about the space whales. Anyway.
sure he maintains the advantage and keeps us on the back foot, he throws his only piece of leverage out of a moving train. Squaring off with his mutated form, and the game is starting to lose me just a little bit. See, Bob was a fun boss fight since he hit hard, sure, but within reason. The boss felt built around how Grave moves and didn't expect too much. The tactic of motionless murder worked just fine with occasional dodges. This fight, however, the boss just won't stop moving. He's constantly dashing around the arena with a machine gun that hits you no matter what, and has an attack that, if not dodged, will whittle you down to almost no health. You can use the hitherto unnecessary lock-on to keep track of him, but with the camera control problems I mentioned before...
Yeah, this boss very much feels like it wasn't made for this style of gameplay. Like, you would have to have him where he has more movement. Also, we hear all your crunching.
Sorry.
But yeah.
I'm trying to get a bit more crackers out.
Oh my god. Anyway, but yeah, this is the problem with some things where you feel like things are rushed because they don't really fit the gameplay when you think about it for a bit.
This is also one of the times where different weapons would probably help too.
Yeah, that's
Something
true.
that you could maintain a lock on with a bit more ease. Not just that, just being able
Finding
to
the
move.
boss
Yeah, like quite literally, they need more.
to lock onto him is easier said than done. It's also in this larger arena that you realize the pistol's range is a lot shorter than you initially thought.
Goddamn,
the boss
he can just
easily
dodge
get out
it.
of range and hop back in just
Oh,
to
yeah.
stab you again. I mean, I still managed to get through it, but look how many skulls I got. This is Bush League. Level 5, and I gotta admit,
Oh.
the last 2 levels of this game are where it really starts to fall apart. It starts off promisingly
What the
enough
hell
with
is
the
that
police
vehicle?
chasing us on our motorcycle because,
I
kill people, but
Oh,
it
he has a
quickly goes
coffin
downhill
on the
once we get to
sidecar.
level proper. The various breeds
reacting.
of thugs, goons, and brutes have
sense,
been replaced by cops,
Yeah.
sporting new equipment like hover bikes and flamethrowers. Funnily enough, that doesn't stop thugs from still showing up and firing at you alongside the cops. The police and criminal populations have come together to make a joint statement. Fuck this guy. The design of this section climbing up the stairs is obnoxious. Remember how Grave's 2 biggest weaknesses are his turning speed and inability to handle tight spaces? Well, the game seeks to exploit this by sticking you in super tight hallways and rounding tons of corners, always making sure to give the enemy first shot. Getting through there and we get a brand new section with a super low draw distance, meaning you can't actually see what's coming, including
No.
flamethrower enemies that do this to you.
Oh, no.
Hey, finally, I'm double dead! Words lack the ability to convey what sound I made when I saw my point total go from 3 million to 0. Your
Dear
score
God.
doesn't mean anything, it's just there to let you think about how fun big numbers are, but hell if I'm gonna lose it! Luckily, restarting the stage lets you keep the score you had going in,
think
which
that was
was
pretty
a
close.
massive relief. No,
Oh,
small
yeah.
number
we
bad,
should
big
watch a
number
Tony Hawk
good.
video at some
Running
point.
back through the stage, you start to notice more oddities, like how enemies are spread out in a way to make sure your combo stays low enough that you can't get any more demolition shots, including the one that
damn.
restores health. Also, this stretch of the stage is just completely silent. They didn't put any music in it. I use my 1 demolition shot on the flamethrower guy because I
that
don't
for
tolerate
a-
bullying, and I get to an elevator. After testing in
I
the
don't
last
tolerate
level to see how much side-to-side movement the game needed to still be fun, this level looks to check how much movement is needed, period. You just stand still and turn to whichever side a bad guy is on, shoot them dead, and then turn back around. The elevator handles the movement part. I still like this section though, it's got a nice shooting gallery feel to it. Getting past that and we get to the top of the building to a Japanese garden where the next syndicate member is. He
Alright.
takes you on while hextuple wielding machine guns.
What the hell?
He didn't hit me once.
What?
After we show him a thing or two, he blows on his thumb so hard that he puffs up like a balloon. Except his circulation kinda sucks, so he ends up looking like this. So this
Oh.
big body looks like it'd be perfect, just
Yeah.
like the Bob fight was. Pure bullet sponge. Not so, since most of the body is actually invincible. It's just that tiny head of his that can be damaged.
Oh,
and the only way to
no.
consistently hit it
Jesus.
is to use the lock-on. A lock-on, though, is
Yeah.
unreliable, seeing as the only way to stay locked on is if you hold down the button, and if he moves too far away, he'll break the lock-on. Then you have to spend the better part of an afternoon turning around to try to find him again. This is
Oh,
all
yeah.
in a fantasy world where the boss isn't actively trying to kill you. He'll throw helicopters, charge at you with his big fist, and worst of
God.
all, send out a shockwave. You need to know which attack is coming super early to dodge it, but the tell to know which move is coming is so quick that when he goes to throw it, you'll still be shooting. But then you get knocked around and lose points, and I don't care if they don't do anything, they make me feel good. At least the music in this fight is super fantastic, but you're not
Mr.
gonna get to hear it.
McFumbles?
What?
Because they
This is
use
an
the same
intervention.
music in the anime as they used in the game, and that makes it so anytime I
Oh.
try to use music from the game in the video, it gets copyright struck.
That sucks.
Doing enough
Oh,
damage though
no.
unlocks a grave shot, letting us stylishly take down an enemy as long as we have a demolition shot. And don't I go and pick the
A
most
grave
underwhelming one to
shot.
start with? Do you know how hard it is to find missiles? I've been refreshing Newegg for days and they're still not in stock. I have been advised under legal counsel to not discuss how many skulls I have. Stage 6 starts immediately.
I do like that, but yeah. What would have been a good idea is to have the grave spit out different weapons for you. Like, you know, the giant grave thing, have it spit out different guns or weapons that it carries inside of it and turn it into
Maybe
a
not
giant...
even spit out. Just have it act like Pandora from Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah, that would also
Oh,
work.
yeah.
And each time the professor would upgrade your giant grave thing. Yeah.
Immediately after the last one, as we meet up with the second to last syndicate member, our former friend and trainee, Bungie. You can tell he
Bungie.
learned from us because he has his own grave chute, but
Oh.
I may have taught him a little too well because he can do his as many times as he wants. Bungie, baby, you only do it when they're near death, otherwise it's tacky. This fight rocks. It's the game's rival fight, so Bungie doesn't have many more tools than you have. Same pistol, same grave chute, no coffin, but I'll get him one soon. Bungie also has a gimmick where when he's dying, he'll run away to go regain health. What a yellow-bellied coward. Stand your ground and fight like a... Shields down, come on, regenerate already! Stand your ground and fight like a man. The key to this fight is to actually let him regain all the health that he wants, since the more times he does it, the less he regains each time, meaning eventually you'll whittle him down into grave shot range. He apologizes he couldn't return the favor for all we did for him and poofs away. It's a good thing he comes back in every other game in this series. As we ride the elevator up to the final boss, all is revealed as we learn Grave's real name used to be Brandon Heat, and he was best friends with Harry McDowell, the new syndicate head. They used to work alongside Big Daddy, who went about cleaning up the criminal underworld by becoming the head of the mob. Big Daddy's role as head of the syndicate led to peace in the city, and he was even due to have a kid, Mika.
Oh, cool. So
Maria, Mika's mom, asks Brandon...
You did
was JoJo's part 6, or was it part 5? Part 5.
I think it's
Part
part
5.
Yeah, part 5.
Golden
to
Wind.
look after Mika.
Golden Wind.
We're gonna take over the drug trade to stamp down on the drug trade.
Which is an insane lot of words, but okay.
It's no more insane than the outfits.
It worked.
I guess so.
In case something happens to her and Big Daddy. Harry thinks something should happen to her and Big Daddy. Brandon refuses, and as a result is shot and killed by Harry, falling all the way back down to the slums and gutters of the
emptied
city.
an entire clip
Finally
into
running
him.
his way
Jesus.
back up, Grave is ready to get revenge and stop the syndicate for good. Getting to the top of the building is surreal. For the entire rest of the game, you've been knee-deep in the grime of cyber Chicago, and now you're high above the clouds on these otherworldly platforms with this unsettling and almost twisted music playing. I absolutely love the look of this last level. Seeing
It's
Grave
very
against all these bright
abstract.
blue backgrounds makes him look so out of place, which is appropriate given how far he's come. On top of that, the enemies are swapped out for all new varieties. These unfinished looking angel creatures that shamble around, bodies haphazardly put together with swords and wings all over the place.
Yeah.
The whole stage has this ethereal and unreal feeling
Fuck
that
is this,
I
House of the
adore.
Dead?
Yeah.
I love how different this stage looks from every other stage that came before it, completely throwing out the established visual style to make you feel as vulnerable and alone as Grave does.
Yeah.
Oh, but they forgot to make it fun. The stage is crawling with a ton of flying enemies, which Grave has a lot of trouble handling. These big flesh sacks that endlessly spawn guys, they had a chance to create a whole new species and kept the rocket launcher guys for some reason. Enemies are a lot faster than you, usually being able to dash all around and defend against all your damage, and when all I can do is shoot gun and waddle from place to place, putting a cap on one of those really hampers the enjoyment.
Yeah.
Also, the verticality of the stage means that there's a high likelihood that Grave will either fall off the edge or worse, get knocked off by an annoying enemy. This is another instance like the last stage as well, where enemies are spread out just enough that you can't ever build up a combo to get more demolition shots.
Damn.
You barely get any to work with, and when enemies are as tough as this, you're really gonna want a few. So we get to the top of the tower and Harry McDowell is waiting for us.
Of course.
He is still just a normal guy. Why does God need a trench coat? He reveals that he revived Big Daddy as a giant flesh golem ready to kill us, and oh, I do so wish the game would pick up the quality for the last boss. Big Daddy has about 3 attacks: breathing fire, shooting a Gatling gun, and slamming his fist down. The Gatling gun and fire are
oddly
easy enough to avoid, but I straight up don't
I think
you
he's
can
supposed to
dodge
look
the
like a
slam
Resident
attack.
Evil
It
monster.
comes out almost instantly,
'Cause that's what it
takes
looks
out
like.
your entire shield and leaves you helpless. This
It's
is
the fact that the
probably
texture
biblical.
is so...
Simple?
Blue.
It feels like, this feels like a test texture.
Yeah, that's actually that's kind of what I'm
I
getting.
do so wish the game
Which is
fire,
probably
shooting a gat-
deliberate.
Yeah.
Might have been. I mean, in the cutscene it's different, but
He looks like an
Looks
early DMC boss.
The
Really,
texture
that's funny,
does.
because I'm thinking of a late DMC boss. I'm thinking of Arkham.
Yeah.
The texture does kind of
Yeah.
look like what the other enemies in the stage had, though.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't work as well with
The final
the
boss.
size.
Yeah.
Gatling gun and slamming his fist down. The Gatling gun and fire are easy enough to avoid, but I straight up don't think you can dodge the slam attack. It comes out almost instantly, takes away your entire shield, and leaves you helpless.
Damn.
This is probably biblical what's happening right now. This leads us on to the final boss fight with Alien Head, who, of all things, is a new take on the excavator fight from level 3. You have to waddle away from the boss as he tries to bite you and launch his eyes like missiles. He can scream spells at you, which is actually probably the most handy face, since at some rages he just can't hit you. But the game can seriously test your patience for how long you can go without recovering health.
It makes me think of when people say this is your brain on drugs, because that's all I can see. Someone was doing something.
Brain on drugs.
Pretty much.
Yes, just like Polar Express on GameCube, this game has no health pickups. The only way to do so is by using a demolition shot, but that also permanently lowers your grade at the end of the stage if you do. After dealing enough damage, though, you can finish them off with a grave shoot, which makes up for the fact that I missed every other one by making all 4 of them 1. My idiocy has finally been rewarded. After escaping the newly resurrected and now double dead Big Daddy, we have Harry to deal with, and the game does the best thing possible for a cutscene. Grave won't fire until you press the fire button.
Yeah.
What a nice young man letting me be part of his revenge. With Harry dead and the remaining Syndicate members even deader, Light returns to the city for the first time as Grave takes Mika far, far away so she can hopefully live a normal life. I can't lie, Gungrave is an almost insultingly simple game. You have to put maybe 2 brain cells to work while playing this game, and even then, you can probably give one the day off. You stand still, you shoot, you win. It's like that from the beginning of the game to the end, with no variation at any point. If this game doesn't hook you in the opening stage, it never will.
Yeah.
If you're like me, though,
it's either
you'll be
love it or
hooked for
hate
the
it.
entire game. That entire game, by the way, is a mere hour and 56 minutes.
That's crazy.
This game is incredibly short, and honestly,
that for a stream.
It's better off for it.
Yeah.
This game does not have the depth to keep someone hooked for more than what there is. If there was another level after this video would be spoken in a radically different tone. Gungrave's short length ties all the way back to the point I made about how to the point this game is. It's the perfect length for a send-up to classic arcade shooting galleries, and is part of the reason I have no interest in playing its sequel Overdose or the new game Gore. Trust me, I wanted to play the game with Rockabilly Red Cadillac real badly. Meet his brother, Houndong Bass Pro. 10 hours of Gungrave is way too much Gungrave, and I feel like people will have played those 2 much more readily available games and have a negative outlook on the original because of it. I'll say it like this, I want to play...
I played the newest one. It got old real fast after I got to like episode 5. I'm not gonna
like $30. It's not particularly expensive.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be that rare.
1 hour of Gungrave a year. Gungrave is the port of an arcade game that never existed, and I can wholeheartedly say that it is amazing.
Yeah, that's what we say about the Vendrids. They have really cool designs. God, I wish they were actually good.
Yeah.
Cats. Discard flesh. Embrace machine.
Hey, I'm Officer Jack
God.
with 2 X's and a Z. I've been asked to speak here on piracy prevention. I know some of you think it's pretty cool how your computer can run any PS2 game in the world whenever you want for free, but it's not
Speed Racer tying game? Hidden Gem.
Really? I mean, I know the movie was actually good.
Yeah, I heard that the game itself, the fact that it's racing with something called Car Fu, actually pulls it off pretty well.
So it's basically IGPX as a game. That's actually good.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, yeah.
Also, I should probably stream it at some point.
It's not glamorous. What is cool and is glamorous, though, is paying $80 for a copy of Gungrave off eBay, which, I remind you, is an hour-and-a-half game. A game that has seen no new way to purchase it in well over 2 decades, no digital redistribution, no chance to even support the original developers, who are dead, by the way.
Who are dead?
If you can't support Red Entertainment or Sega, why not support your local Luke from Milwaukee? Emulating games isn't cool unless a company does it to sell you a game from 1994 for $30. Yoo-hoo, boys! I'm gullible and bad with money!
Good God.
It's now a bad time to mention I bought Sonic Origins.
Yes, very bad. How dare you be a Sonic fan?
I found out someone made a war game for it.
Well then.
Well, too bad. I like Sonic.
That's not that
I'm
surprising.
putting together a gun army.
A gun army? What the hell is it? Anyway.
Why, what the hell was that noise?
I just saw he made a video on Victory, and I haven't seen it yet.
Alright. Well.
I haven't seen Victory yet. Yeah.
Thank you all so much. And yeah, if you guys want more for us to watch Bumble McFumbles, we'll see you later. But like, comment, subscribe if you want more. Anyway, later.